Christmas is a wonderful time of the year. I personally enjoy it, and I know there's a lot of others that do. But if a few things are not taken under consideration, Christmas can become as creepy as Halloween. And there's actually been a song put out about that, and I'd like to elaborate just a little bit. Alright, just think about it this way. Here you have brought a live pine tree that you know that if it dries out and you put hot Christmas lights around it, it could ignite into an inferno and burn down your house. This is something you might want to take into consideration as you're decorating for Christmas. Remember, one little short and you may not have a house anymore. Now, that doesn't mean that that's going to happen, but it's something you need to take under consideration. Otherwise, Christmas can become very creepy very fast. Now, just picturing in your head reindeer flying overhead. Now, that's bad enough, but thinking that they could instantly lose altitude and smash into your house, that could make Christmas a little bit creepy. Not to mention the fact, well, you know, reindeer have digestive systems just like the rest of us. And to think you'd have to clean up that kind of excrement around your house, that could make Christmas a little creepy. Another thing that can make Christmas a little creepy is not talking to your kids about what really goes on Christmas. Because you could have an inadvertent situation where a kid could come down and see mommy making out with Santa Claus. And that kid may not even realize that that's not really Santa Claus, that's just daddy. And of course that becomes creepy in itself because now they're watching mommy and daddy making out on Christmas Eve. That could be a little creepy. That's something you need to take into consideration as you're dealing with Christmas. Alright. Another thing that could make things a little creepy is having a department store hire a Santa Claus without doing a criminal background check. You might want to think about that the next time you let your little kid sit on Santa's lap. Now, most stores do, so thank heavens for that, but, you know, you get some generic store, some mom and pop operation, and they don't necessarily run a background check, well, that could lead to a creepy situation. But that's something you have to take under consideration. Alright. Another thing you could take under consideration is, let's say that some fake Santa Claus decides he wants to rob your house on Christmas Eve, so he gets stuck in your chimney. That could make Christmas a little creepy. Alright. And then just having the mere thought that your kids are sending letters to the North Pole, not realizing who may or may not be reading those letters, that could be a little creepy. So it's something to take into consideration. Now, another thing that could make things really creepy on Christmas is some of the presents. Now, when Santa Claus delivers presents, that's not just a big deal. But when you have cousins or whatever that really don't know you that well, and they give you some of the most unusual presents of all time, that could be a little creepy. Not to mention the fact that you have sometimes complete strangers giving your kids Christmas candy. You don't know what's in it. That could be a little creepy. It's things like that you have to kind of take under consideration. And then, of course, you have to take under consideration with all this lead paint thing that's been going on the past couple of years. You know, you think, man, does this Christmas present contain lead paint? That's something you might want to take under consideration, or otherwise Christmas can become creepy. And then we have the wonderful Christmas song, and I have nothing against it, the most wonderful time of the year. Everybody listens to this song. But if you really pay attention to the lyrics a little more carefully, they have a lyric that carefully describes how people are talking about ghost stories on Christmas Eve. I mean, gee, haven't we moved past Halloween yet? I don't know. I wouldn't want to hear a ghost story on Christmas Eve. That would be kind of creepy. So it's things like that you need to take into consideration, or otherwise Christmas can become creepy. Now, I'm not saying that Christmas is creepy. I'm saying it can become creepy if you don't take these kind of things under consideration. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.